Hello, welcome to Outside Xbox. You're watching Show of the Week. I'm Mike.
And I'm Andy. This week I was outraged to discover a historical inaccuracy in Battlefield 1.
Oh yeah?
See, in the Gallipoli mission, the game shows the soldiers wearing the tin Brody helmets, which were only introduced in 1916, over a year after the events taking place here. Outrageous. Now, let me take a big sip of my drink while you tell me what you've been doing this week.
Me? I've been playing For Honor, in which knights, samurai and Vikings fight each other.
Wait, who does what? Why?
Vikings, knights and samurai fight each other.
What? Why? How?
Look, let me explain.
Vikings, samurai, knights. They're all having a massive scrap that never would have happened in real life because developer Ubisoft Montreal reckons that history is a lot more fun when you just take the best bits and then make them hit each other with massive swords. The hitting each other with swords part is what you'll be doing for most of your time in For Honor, so thankfully there's a complex and deep combat system in place to ensure that this doesn't just turn into a button mashing contest. At least I mean it doesn't have to turn into a button mashing contest. Let's be realistic here. When facing off against another human player, you go into a dueling stance, from which you can adopt one of 3 different stances. By watching your opponent, you can see where their guard is down and aim your attacks accordingly, and even go for grimly efficient executions if you want to make sure they won't be resurrected by their teammates later on. Things are mixed up with the inclusion of 4 player classes: the balanced vanguards, the quick and deadly assassins, the slow but powerful heavies, and the unusual hybrids that mix together aspects of the other 3 types. Each class is available for each faction, so you get to see the knights take on the heavy and compare them to the heavy samurai and decide which you like best. Pretty terrified of all of them, to be honest. The game features a single-player campaign in which you'll play as all 3 factions in a story about a bloodthirsty warlord trying to pitch them all against each other. But the game's main focus is multiplayer, with 5 modes announced so far, including a 4v4 domination mode called Dominion, a one-on-one duel mode, and a permadeath mode called Elimination. Hey, at least that's accurate about what happens when your head gets cut off? For Honor is out on the 14th of February, but there's a beta running this weekend if you want to give it a go yourself before deciding if it's your cup of medieval mead. Mead? Is that right, Andy? Or am I thinking of Skyrim again?
Is Andy okay? Yeah, he's built a fort out of history textbooks, but he'll be fine in a minute. I probably shouldn't have gone on to tell him my theory about who would win in a fight between Queen Elizabeth I and the Predator.
No, you definitely shouldn't have. Still, it's not as if For Honor's got the monopoly on unlikely video game matchups.
Because that's the magic of video games. They let you play out whatever far-fetched fantasy face-off you like, from knights fighting samurai, like in For Honor, to dolphins fighting xenomorphs. Only in video games. Now, behold 5 more of the least likely matchups in games.
Since the dawn of time, plants have protected suburbia from the zombies. But now the world has changed.
Until PopCap's delightful Plants vs Zombies series came along, we had no idea our best defense against The Walking Dead was their unlikely nemesis of plants. Where we'd been wasting our time fortifying our flats with planks, nails and spike-filled moats, we should have been sowing the seeds for a nice herbaceous perennial border.
Brains.
Who could have guessed that in the rock, paper, scissors system of fighting zombies, plants kill zombies, zombies kill humans, and I guess humans kill plants? Which actually is borne out by my many failures at trying to take care of houseplants. So many dead ficuses.
If you could have any superpower, would you use that power for good? Or would you use that power for evil?
If only Scribblenauts Unmasked had been around when we were tiny nerds back in preschool, we could have saved a hell of a lot of time on playground arguments about which superhero would beat which superhero in a stand-up, no-holds-barred fight. By letting you spawn any of your fave DC characters into a glorious 2D battle royale, this game finally lets us settle the classic, age-old question: who would win in a fight between Superman's weird reverse version doppelganger Bizarro and a bunch of mummies? Bizarro would, it turns out, mostly by hovering around and kicking them. From there we can move on to the really advanced hypothetical DC Universe matchups, like who'd come out on top in a gigantic tussle between some flying monkeys, vampire women, Legion, and a couple of Green Lanterns. And from there let's consider who is mightiest in a broad spectrum brawl between, okay, I'm not even sure what's going on anymore. My money's on the big one.
Something funny's going on out there.
It's just the storm, John.
The dead of reason. And a virulent plague turning people into flesh-eating crazy.
Yes, Red Dead Redemption was a fascinating ode to the last days of the Old West, in which the cowboys of yore found they were being left behind as the world changed around them.
So, you ever hear talk about them machines that can make a man fly?
Well, sure, Pa. Everybody knows about that.
But what we really wanted to see wasn't the poignant tension between cowboys and modernity, but the bloody flesh-eating tension between cowboys and zombies. I mean, frankly, with John Marston's dead-eye targeting system, it should be no bother for him to nail these Wild West zombies in the head every single time. Hardly seems like a fair fight.
Welcome to paradise.
I'm a genetic life form in Disk Operating System. I would say it's nice to meet you, but it's not nice to lie.
Batman has had loads of kooky enemies over the years, from psychotic clowns to men in green who like crossword puzzle clues. Even Batman, though, has got to be surprised that in LEGO Dimensions he ends up facing GLaDOS, the rogue AI from the completely separate fictional universe of Portal, while on a team with Wildstyle and Gandalf the Grey off of Lord of the Rings.
I think this contraption could almost give Shadowfax a run for his money.
I want to know what those guys talk about during mission downtime. Still, if anyone is going to do well at GLaDOS's fiendishly difficult tests, it's the world's greatest detective. The real threat, as ever, is Wheatley, or more specifically, Wheatley's stupidity.
This one's got a skull on it. So obviously a bluff. That'll definitely turn the fire off.
No wonder Batman's so angry all the time.
It wasn't a bluff. Just made the fire move closer. That's a surprise.
In battle, it's not a question of guilty or not guilty.
Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, is accustomed to battling against the odds when he's in court in his own game series, but that's usually just thanks to ludicrously convoluted pieces of evidence and supercilious prosecutors. It's a whole different ballgame when Phoenix is thrown into the Marvel vs. Capcom roster and asked to fight, among other people, the Incredible Hulk, Wolverine, and Iron Man. Oh, thank goodness, there's another lawyer here. Oh, wait, it's She-Hulk.
Soon the defense will rest, for fist upon your face.
I mean, it doesn't really seem fair that a lawyer with no combat training is expected to have a fight with Magneto, one of the most powerful mutants in existence, but that said, he seems to be doing pretty well.
One who actually committed the crime is you! No alibi, no justice, no dream, no hope! Danger! It's time to pay for your crimes! Take that!
Combo KO! You win! Now it's time to see what's in the comments and in the lunch I had at the B&B I stayed at over the weekend.
You eat all this and you can be one of us. Then I'll take those things off and you can go out and play. But you gotta eat all of it.
Wow. This looks delicious.
Seems nice.
4 stars on TripAdvisor that had.
First up this week, your comments on last week's show of the week, all about Hitman and Agent 47's most cruel and unusual hit from Season 1.
These are, however, totally optional, and the hints for them can be switched off if you want to explore and find your own murder method, otherwise known as the surprisingly effective Mike technique.
He's doing it!
Oh my god, you idiot. Remember what happened last time?
Remember this?
Oh boy.
Is he dead? No.
Yes, he is dead, he's dead, okay.
Commenter Emma Byrne would like to point out that the Mike strategy, TM, also worked with the twins' elusive target mission. Get your facts straight.
Deploy. Ooh. Oh, get out of it, Deathmaster. Go!
Do it, detonate
it! Right trigger, right trigger, right trigger!
I mean, no one knows it was me.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, you're fine.
Super casual.
Wow.
Can't believe I did all that tailing.
I know.
Blending.
Thrown an exploding duck at him and it would have been fine.
See, works every time.
Works twice.
Works nearly every time. Most of the other comments were about the revelation that Jane is an immortal lich.
Jane Douglas died in 1761. She was 61 years old when she died.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. My condolences to you.
Yeah, thank you. Commenter Trite was dismayed that the Alexa bit set off my Alexa.
You've probably set it off again with that comment.
Oh, sorry, Alexa.
Meanwhile, 16-bit Jay had this theory. I'm guessing Jane keeps a physical presence due to regular ritual sacrifices. I wonder what happened to Luke and Ellen this week.
That's outrageous.
Right.
I'll have you know I value their work very highly.
Yes.
Especially since I broke my Alexa in last week's show. Ellen, play the Final Fantasy 15 soundtrack.
Yes, Jane.
Next up, here are your comments on our Hitman quiz in which Jane asked Andy and I what happened next. The answer was usually, someone dies horribly.
Here come the convoy of limos. And he's good. Oh my god.
This is genius.
He's going to get hit by a limo.
That's so good. That's really, really good. Very impressive.
ITA trainee Agent 46.5 writes in to say, I wish I could hit man like that. Granted, it would be easier if the agency gave me an actual gun. That extra 0.5 really makes a difference to them.
It's exactly like when I tried to join the ICA. They wouldn't give me a gun either.
Yeah, that's because it was the Institute of Contemporary Arts and that's a museum.
Ugh, you sound just like the police.
Too hot! Hot! How?
And then commenter Original L Money writes in and asks, am I the only one who noticed how nonchalant that guard was as you watched Dr. Valentine run off the walkway? A guy runs by him, his head on fuego, tips over a banister, falls to his doom, and the guard just kind of reacts like, oh, meh, oh well.
To be fair, he is a guard in a Hitman game.
Right, he sees this kind of thing 8 to 10 times a day, minimum. And then commenter Thesaurus Rex writes to say, what's your secret, Andy? Mike is worse than I am. Fair enough, Andy. Gotta know your strengths, even if that strength is your co-host's weakness.
Yeah, well, wait until we have a quiz on explosions or cars, then we'll see who's worse than who.
Yeah, well, actually, Mike, I checked the schedule and the next quiz is on tedious historical inaccuracies in video games.
Oh, I've got to stop letting Andy write the schedule. Moving on, here are your comments on this video in which Jane and Andy played Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Wildlands.
What did I say?
We haven't got a radio in this helicopter, Jane, so I need you to hum Flights of the Valkyries.
Okay.
Nice, thank you.
Flight of the Valkyries.
Commenter Joker Halo 1 knows a good ghosting when they see it, saying, I feel safe knowing that Jane and Andy are out there stopping drugs from entering the country by crashing helicopters.
Just doing our job.
Badly.
Yeah, quite badly. Commenter Nicholas Cross offers the following mission assessment. Press X to pay respects to Steve and the concept of covert operations, both of which perished in this video.
Yeah, he's...
some of the rebels are dead.
Oh my god. Jane, what
Steve,
have you done?
no. That was Rebel Steve.
Can we have his hat, though?
He was my favourite.
Hey, Steve knew the risks when he became an NPC.
Lastly, Lewis Phillipson comments, if those guys in the background could be a bit louder, that would be great.
That's just how you YouTube these days. In fact, going forward, Mike, I'm going to need you to be a bit louder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we're going to need to get you a catchphrase.
I'm not really a catchphrase guy.
Yeah, well, that's too bad. I've drawn you up a shortlist. So if you'd like to pick one.
You just got mic dropped. Time to go channel surfing. This one just says cars.
Yeah, it's more like cars. You know.
Okay, I'll go work on these.
Yeah, okay. I'll be here. Looks like you just changed the channel.
No!
That's it for this week's show, but did you know that the YouTube like button was only introduced in 2010, thus making anything in which people are depicted pressing it before 2010 historically inaccurate and wrong?
They can press it now though, right?
Oh yeah, it's 2017, go nuts.
Cool, thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.
But it's a stupid theory. Why would the Predator be fighting Queen Elizabeth I?
Because he's hunting the ultimate prey, who are also queens.
But humans who are also queens is the ultimate prey.
Yeah, because they've got funding, like royal funding and like the divine right.
What? Predator doesn't care about the divine right.
You don't. They might have a whole religious system.
Maybe
in space.
Predator's got a divine right from Predator gods.
Yeah, but that's why it's the ultimate clash.
Didn't think of that, did you?
It's a theological debate enacted in the shape of a chase through a forest.